Hello, my stamping friends. This is Renae Novak at BlessedByCards.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, and I'm here today to share with you another Make It Monday tutorial. Today I'm going to share 3 cards that I created using the Hello Harvest and some of the paper from the Rustic Harvest Designer Series paper pack. So let's get started. The first card I created using a early espresso card base, and I added a little layer of old olive and then a piece of that designer series paper for my background. And then for the pumpkins, I stamped them in Versamark on the Poppy Parade pumpkin pie, and then I use the heat gun and the embossing gold embossing powder to do a little embossing detail. And then I took some white craft ink and kind of just sponged over, hopefully you can see that, sponged over the pumpkins themselves. Okay, so let me just bring in a piece of that pumpkin pie and really quickly show you how that embossing is done. Use your embossing buddy across there to get rid of the static. And then you want to take your image, in our case this time it's a pumpkin, and we're going to sauce it up with some of the Versamark ink. Get it nice and saucy. And then you're just going to stamp it down. I'm going to close that ink up. Stamp it down with a firm pressure so that you get that all over. I know it's hard to see, but it's on there. And then you're going to bring in your embossing powder and you're going to put that embossing powder all over your pumpkin, and then just kind of shake off the excess. Give it a little tap. Get rid of all those unwanted edges. That's where the embossing buddy comes in handy. Okay, and then we'll set that aside so that we can put that back in our embossing container. And then you're going to take your heat gun and you're just going to heat that up till it starts to change. Hopefully you can see it start to change from that dull gold to the bright gold. And you might have to move your paper so you don't burn yourself. And that is the heating tool, and that is how it turns out. Then you'll want to run that through the embossing folder and get your pumpkin. So as I said in mine, I put a little bit of the white craft ink along each one, but I did cut it out first, and then I added the white craft ink. So let me bring back in the card. I created some of the leaves in Crumb Cake, Old Olive, and Mary Merlot. And then the sunflowers I just colored in with colored pencils. And the greeting, "You're Such a Blessing," is stamped and cut out with the Stylish Shapes banner, "You're Such a Blessing." And that was the first card that I created. I used Old Olive to cut these little sprigs of the pumpkin, and then just added these leaves and put them on dimensionals. Now, all of the measurements and the supplies that I used to create all 3 cards today will be in a free PDF download on my blog at BlessedByCards.com. So that is the very first card. The second card I created using, again, the Designer Series paper, Rustic Harvest. And for this one, I took a black cardstock, and then I put a piece of white on the inside. And then I just used the paper to do the background. And this particular pumpkin and leaves and the gourd here are all cut from the Designer Series paper. And then I used some Sahara Sand cardstock to use the dies that come in that bundle and made the pumpkin. And then I cut a little square of black and I stamped in the craft white ink, "You Are Missed," and then just cut out a little piece of a leaf and an acorn. And so that's the second card that I created. And the last card that I created, again using a piece of that designer series paper. I put it on some basic gray cardstock, and then I added the hello greeting in basic gray ink, and again used those stylish shaped dies. And then I went ahead and cut the flowers, and I used my colored pencil to color in the flowers, and I did 2 of those bundles. So this is one right here, and then I cut a second one, and I put it on top of a Sahara sand pumpkin that I stamped with some soft suede ink. And that's the 3rd card that I created, and that was all using that Hello Harvest bundle that's in the July to December catalog. So that's how quick and easy 3 cards come together, using the designer series paper as a background, using the designer series paper to cut out images and layer them on your card, and then using the designer series paper as a background again, and the embossing on those particular pumpkins. I think that's all I have today, is 3 beautiful cards from one bundle. And if you enjoyed these, hop on over to my blog and download that free PDF. And you can shop there 24/7 for any of the products that I use. So again, thanks for watching. Join me next Monday for another Make It Monday tutorial. And until then, be blessed.